Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, CesarRespino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, CesarRespino, and today I have a special guest. She is an author, a speaker, and an empowerment coach who motivates women to utilize their unique strength to impact and lead others. She has a business and a nonprofit leadership background and is also a certified Maxwell Leadership Behavioral Analyst, trainer, and consultant. She is the CEO of Destined for Success Coaching, Consulting, and Leadership Development. With me, I have Carolyn Warren. Hey, Carolyn, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. It's so great to be on the show with you today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to have you here. And one of the things that I always like to ask the people that are on the show is to tell me a little bit about their upbringing and where are you originally from, and tell me more of that story there.
Okay. Well, I grew up in the country. I am originally from West Virginia. Grew up with an outside toilet, plumbing outside, go outside and, pump the water and that kind of thing. And, but it was a good upbringing. I had a loving mom and dad. I was a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And my parents, I was born late in life, and they thought that they weren't going to have any children. They got married late and, of course, started this journey of marriage and raising a family. And so they were married about 3 years before I was born. And as I said, they thought they were not going to be able to have any children. But after I came, 3 others came. So they, I think because they were older parents, they were very committed to their family. And my mom says she spoiled all 4 of us. And I'm the oldest. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, definitely. So that's good. And I'm curious to know, like, obviously, when we look at even just now and seeing how, the living conditions, if you put it that way, a lot of people, I mean, obviously, even if you're, low income, you still have like a restroom, electricity, water, all of that within your house, right? How was that, obviously having an outside toilet and all that stuff, being out in the open in that sense. And I guess more than anything, the appreciation, right, for that in life and what we have, right?
Yes, it is. It helps you to appreciate what is really important, and having a loving family. And for me, we had a loving small community. So we were raised by really every adult in the community. Everybody could correct you. Everybody could spank you on your, bottom and send you home. And when you got home, you got another tap. But it was because they loved you, and the expectation was that you were going to rise up out of that and become someone who would really be able to make a difference in the world. And, it was hands-on. And sometimes, I thought, okay, this is a little harsh, but it helped to build the person that I am today. And so I would not change anything in the world.
Yeah, you said something that that is important, right? And again, the upbringing is who has made you who you are now, and you see
Hmm.
that and you learn that, right? Do you feel, um, I feel like there's a sense of missing the element of what you just mentioned, like having that community, like the whole
Hmm.
neighborhood kind of racing you, and God forbids, you go outside and somebody spanks you right now, you probably be looking for a couple of days in jail or things like that, right?
Right.
There was a different purpose with that, and then also having that. Do you feel like that's a missing element nowadays, or maybe to an extent part of that, where I feel like even community wise, there's not a whole lot
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
neighborhood, right? You don't see a lot of that, and definitely you cannot really spank anybody, or that's even a bigger crime, right?
You're
Do you feel
right,
like
right.
maybe we're definitely evolving, except are we missing something there that can help people as they get older and appreciate life and become someone different?
I believe that community is a missing part.
Hmm.
And one of the things that knits a community together is just not the fact that you are living in proximity to one another, but that you also share certain values. And
Mm.
so in the community where I grew up, everyone saw everyone else's child as a part of themselves and took responsibility. So you weren't getting, a tap on the bottom just because, really, even just because you did something wrong. It
Mm.
was that I am responsible for the life and for the journey that you're on. And this is my way of bringing you back on point. So they weren't trying to be mean. They weren't trying
Right.
to be mad, but they were saying, I'm going to invest in you. And the behavior that I just saw is not acceptable in this community.
Mm.
And because you are a part of the community and we represent one another and we're a part of one another, I'm going to give you a gentle reminder that you will not forget. And then I'm going to send you home to your mom and daddy. And
Yeah.
they are going to, and when they sent me home, my mom and dad reinforced what I heard and what
Right.
had just happened.
Yeah.
So, I think that that is one of the missing pieces, is that, community is an investment, and it is a recognition of the possibility that is in that child. And so,
Yeah. No,
that's how it was done in my community, in my
yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah, no, that's huge. So, growing up, were there any ideas of, we have all this idea of when I grow up, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an astronaut, I want to do whatever, right? Did you fulfill that dream, or what was that one thing you wanted to become, and then did you become that, or you went a different route?
Well, it's quite interesting. When I was growing up, the thing that I remember, and I'm a person of faith, and so, I grew up in a faith-based community, and,
Hmm.
my mom and dad. But the thing that was always the most prominent for me is that I want to make a difference. So it wasn't so much about, I want to be a teacher, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, but it was like, okay, I know that I was put here to make a difference. And so, looking for avenues to make a difference. And part of that process was being a good student, um, taking some leadership classes, even though at the time I didn't know that they were leadership classes. I would just get a note from the guidance counselor or the teacher and saying, oh, they're having this, you've been selected to go to this camp for, the summer. And it's like, oh, okay. And I'm just thinking, okay, I get to get out of the country. So, oh, I'd love to do that. But, I started out in sociology when I went to college. And I met my husband, and I ended up actually not finishing college.
Hmm.
We fell in love and, got married, and I became a mom. And so I decided that, once our daughter was born, is that the most important thing for me was raising my daughter. And I really had this eye-opening moment. My mom was babysitting her, and I had, been off to class and came back to pick her up. And she told me that she had taken her first step, and I was heartbroken. And I thought, I cannot miss these moments because I can't go back and get them. And so my husband and I decided that I would stay home and raise our family. And eventually that one daughter ended up being 3 daughters total. But the thing that I believe helped prepare me is that I've always been a lifelong learner. And so I've always continued to learn and grow and push myself. And I thought that eventually I would get back to going to college and finishing my degree, but somewhere along the way, I just felt like God said, okay, look, you have so much experience, you have so much wisdom, you have all the knowledge that you really need to do whatever it is that you want to do. And so as a result of some twists and turns and classes and learning and all of that, I ended up in coaching. My husband founded a church, and so this became a training ground for me, being able to impact the lives of women, impact the lives of families and children. And so it's sort of funny. A couple of months ago, one of the ladies who has known me for years, she said, after I got the coaching certification, she said, "You've been coaching for years. You just didn't know what you were doing." And I that's what I believe. I've been coaching for years. And in fact, I had a conversation with someone, and they said, "Your message really hasn't changed. It's always been about empowering people, helping people to see possibility, encouraging them, and helping them to see that there is nothing that you cannot do if you just put in the work and enlarge your thinking and see what is possible, and stop looking at the weaknesses and what is not possible for you." So that has been sort of my journey. I get the greatest thrill in helping people, when the light bulb goes off in their minds and you can see it in their eyes, and they can see themselves in the future doing something that they thought was going to be an impossibility for them.
Right. So it's like you said, is really expanding that and future pacing and looking at that from that perspective, right? You mentioned that, and that's actually pretty interesting to hear the idea of, I want to make a difference, right? And that was kind of like that, the moving point. To what level, when you look at, I want to make a difference, right? How do you define that for yourself, right? Like, and to what level or multitude do you want to make that difference, right? Because that's a big driving factor. It's like, when I ask people, what is success? And some people might measure success based on the monetary value that they have in their bank account. I believe that that's not necessarily success, because we have seen many people, if you want to take that as from that perspective, you see many people that you can probably call them success because of their monetary value, except they're not happy, they're miserable, they're in drugs, they're doing all these different things. And I define success in a different aspect. So to you, how do you define that I'm here to make a difference? To what level, to what multitude? Because I know that has evolved throughout the years, right?
Well, I've always had, from a young girl, I had this mental image of being at a platform, being at a podium, and there being a room full of people, and I'm not sure, I can't see their faces, but it's like I'm in this auditorium and there are thousands of people there. So that's always been this image of, I want to make a difference. And I believe that God gave me that image to say that your impact and influence will just not be the one-to-one, but there will be a broad appeal for what it is that you do. And so that has been my journey. And it's things have sort of evolved, and now I realize that there are various means and paths of impacting people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it may not necessarily be just you and I, like one-to-one, being in an auditorium and there is 1,000 people there. But now we can write books, there is social media. And so that expands our reach. And about 4 years ago, I, had this challenging time in my life. And I realized that this was God sort of shaking up my normal,
Mm-hmm.
sort of tipping the boat over, and I'm in the water, and so it's like, okay, you can either sink or swim.
Yeah.
And I saw that it was okay. There was a demand being placed on me that I had gone as far as I could go with what I knew at that moment. And there was going to be a demand placed on me. And I made a commitment that, okay, God, I believe that this is you. I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now, but I don't think that it is. And in fact, I'm feeling panic. I feel a panic attack coming on, but I don't believe that it's for my detriment. It is to get my attention and get me to rethink, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I made a commitment that every door that opened for me, I would walk through it. Whether I knew what I was doing, whether I felt I had the skill, but I was going to walk through it. And so for the last 4 years, that's what I've been doing. And in the last 4 years, I've written a book, I've written a workbook, I've done a self-care journal, I've done a prayer journal, I've been a virtual speaker on an international stage.
Nice.
I've, been on podcasts, and all of this, I'm not the person that I was 4 years ago. The person that 4 years ago, the Carolyn 4 years ago, had never done a Facebook post. The Carolyn 4 years ago thought the most ridiculous thing in the world was to have a friend on Facebook, because there are no friends. They are not your friends. That was my perspective. I don't know why you're so excited that you've got so many friends. They're not your friends. You don't even know these people.
Right.
So it's been a total transformation where now I have almost 2,000 friends. Pardon the term, but because I've realized that a door opened, and in order for me to have impact and in order for me to make a difference, I've got to walk through a door. And I've also got to reevaluate how I think, and possibly recognize that I'm stuck. Some of the things that I didn't want to do, I'm going to have to do, because when I learn how to do them or become acquainted with them, it allows me to fulfill the purpose that I think that we have. And I think that that's part of the success journey that we're on. Sometimes I believe that we say, what does this success mean to you? Well, you can say that, okay, it means this. But once you get there, you have to recognize that it doesn't stop here. This is just a stopping point. So now, what does success mean for the next leg of the journey? And so I believe that that's one of the things that hopefully I bring to people, is to understand that if what you said success was last year is still success, you're stuck. You've quit learning. You're not moving. You're not growing. And so, I think almost every day we have to say, okay, what does it look like to, what am I supposed to do today? How am I supposed to make an impact today?
Yeah. No, you know what? And that's actually a great point. That's a good reflection that I didn't think of. And definitely, as you're listening to this, people that are listening to the show, is like, definitely, you got to ask yourself that question. And that's actually a good point.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still in the same place and you set yourself I don't call them goals, I call them more like targets. Except if you
Right.
set yourself some goals or targets, and you're still in the same place, and you're still asking that same questions, then definitely we got to go back and look at the drawing board and say, okay, there's something missing, or I need to do something different, because obviously I'm not moving forward. And you get stuck in. And I also agree with you with the idea of, once you reach a milestone, then you got to set a new one. Like, this is a never ending. I believe that the moment you stop learning and growing is the moment they're going to start dying, right? And really, to me, that's that. And you've seen it many times. There's been stories where, people have worked at a company, all their life, and then they retire, and then they find themselves like there's no purpose to life to an extent. And then within there's been cases within some months of retirement, people die, or within some years of retirement, 3, 4, 5 years, and then they die because I believe that they stop thinking of, well, that's all I did, that's all I know. I lost that sense of purpose, or this idea, and therefore, you start dying. So I do believe that. I also like what you mentioned, and that's actually a good way for people to recognize, is that, I have it here in my notes, a panic attack is a lifeline to living your best life. And oftentimes we don't think of that, right? And it goes back to that. I love the fact that you share that we got to be able to take, those when you're getting shaken, or those panic attacks, or those challenges, and say, you know what, this is a lifeline to the thing that's coming. It's something better and greater. And you got to look at it from that perspective. Look at the good stuff versus the bad stuff, right?
Right. And one of the tools that I try to share with people is that life is about doing self-assessments and learning how to lead yourself. So when I am in what I consider to be an uncomfortable place, and things aren't going like I would like for them to go, is to not so much look at the outside and saying, okay, I'm getting pressure from here, I'm getting pressure from there, I don't like this person, they don't like me, but to look inside and to say, okay, what is this moment endeavoring to teach me? Maybe I feel that I'm having a bad conversation with this coworker or with my family member, but is there a level of learning and growth that I need? Do I need to, am I presenting to this person that it's my way or no way?
Right.
Am I really communicating? Is there a better way to communicate and to get my point across? Or is this person, their perspective, really the better perspective? And I'm in a place of pride or arrogance, and that's why we're having the conversation. Is it that someone is presenting a new opportunity? There's a new opportunity on the job, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. Well, why is it that I don't want to do that? Am I afraid of failing? Am I afraid that, okay, I've got this nice group, this team that I've been working with, and now I'm going to be put in a team where now I'm going to have to make all new connections. And that's going to actually push me to come outside of my comfort zone. And instead of dealing and interacting with people who, I can just take my shoes off and I can joke and, just be, Carolyn, that now I'm in an environment where I've got to learn how to interact and communicate and work with people that possibly I may not even like, but there is a place that I need to go. And so you start there. Okay, is there something that I need to learn? Is there a place where I need to renew my mind? I need to come outside of a comfort zone. I need to rethink how I've been living and interacting in life. And if you can say, okay, yeah, there are some things that, I need to process differently. And sometimes you look at it and you say, no, I think I'm in a good place. And so now, how can I help this other person come along? How can I come alongside them and help them to grow?
Right.
Or be, hold the ladder for them. because I think that one of the difficulties we have in life today is that it's all about me. It's, it's my success. It's me making money. It's me having a name. It's me having prominence. And I believe that any gift or strength or strategies that we are excel at, ultimately, it is for us to help someone else or to impact someone else. So, if I'm taking my goal is just to be the best person that I can possibly be. Well, okay, I do that and I accomplish that. But at the end of the day, I'm just sitting here. I'm the best person that I can be, but I'm not changing nothing. I'm not impacting anybody's life. The goal of becoming the best person that I can be is because it increases my influence. It increases my ability to have significance and help someone else on their journey.
Yeah, I definitely like that. One thing that comes to mind, I was listening to, I forget who I was listening to, but they were talking about, when you're gone, right? And you leave this earth, what kind of impact are you leaving behind, right? What are the things that you're leaving behind? Are people going to remember you, or are they going to forget about you? And a lot of times when you see from that perspective, it's true, right? How many people's lives have you touched to, as you mentioned, now there's more way that we can reach those people, whether it's a book, a podcast, a social media post. Like, are we positively impacting people and touching them in such a way? And we're not talking about, hey, you have to sign up for my $10,000 program. I mean, if you want to, great. I'm not even talking about that. It's about, you go pick up my book for $25. That's gonna help you trajectory in your life, do something different. Is like, you start thinking about, am I doing that? If that's your purpose, that's what you want to do, am I touching those lives? Because at the end of the day, if there's no one going to be at my funeral, then I probably, for me at least, I think I didn't do what I wanted to do. Like, it's like I didn't mean anything in this existence, right? And so I think that's huge, to go through that. You obviously have gone through a lot of training. As you said, you are a person of faith, so you have a lot of stuff going on for yourself. What are some of the daily habits that you do to help you stay positive, moving forward, continue to chase that dream?
Well, as I said earlier, I am a lifelong learner, and I believe that one of the tools that is available, and you don't have to do it with me, but is assessments. And so with the Maxwell Leadership Team, they offer a DISC assessment, which is a little bit different from some of the, there's an added layer that they call a power DISC. And in that, it helps people to understand who they are. One of the greatest tools for me to continue the journey that I'm on is understanding who I am. And I believe that each of us have a design, a unique design that has equipped us, if we tap into it and we use it effectively and continue to grow it, that allows us to have significance. I am a person who is optimistic, just by nature. That's just who I am. The glass is half full, and somebody's getting ready to pour in the other half. Yes. But when I know that, and I know that when the more you know about your individual self, the more effective you can become in having significance. So now, because I know that I'm a natural optimist, that I'm an encourager, that I believe that learning is a very powerful tool, that self-assessments are a powerful tool. When whatever environment I go into, I recognize that I'm bringing my gifts or my strengths or my talents with me. So when I am whether I'm at the grocery store or at the car wash, it is okay. My assignment is not to try and make money, but my assignment, and money is fine. We all need money. I'm just saying that that's not the emphasis. The emphasis is that I'm in this environment, and I believe that I'm supposed to touch somebody, and their life is changed and impacted because of me. And in my book, the Women at the Table, I teach a principle at the end that every day, if we could just get to the place where we intentionally give someone 3 minutes of our time, of our life, of our gift, with no strings attached. Whether you like me or not, whether you buy something, it doesn't matter. It is, I must give someone 3 minutes of the best that I am. And if I can just share this little story. One day I was at the grocery store, and I'm normally a pretty patient person. So if the line's long, I don't care. I'll just, look at the titles on the magazines that, are in the aisle. But the line was long, and I noticed that people in front of me started to sort of rumble. And I thought, okay, what's going on? Well, anyway, when I got up to the teller, I realized why the line was long. The person was in training. And so they were, of course, having a little bit of difficulty, because you don't become, a teller just because you just took the class. There's practical application to everything you learn. And so I thought, okay, she's heard so many complaints before I got here. This is my 3 minutes. And so I said to her, I see that you're a trainer. I know exactly what it feels like to be doing something new, and you've been through a class, and they tell you that you're ready, and then they just put you here, and you realize that practically applying what you've learned takes some time. And I said, you've got this. I am the most patient person in the world. So you just take your time, and, I'm going to sit here and just help you as much as I can. So, normally I don't put anything out, stack things on the belt, but I did that. And so, she got this smile on her face simply because she knew that this person was not going to give me a hard time. They were not going to act like they were frustrated because I was, I didn't understand something. I had to look up the cost of, whatever peppers or whatever it was that I was purchasing. And so when I left the grocery store, I thought, okay, what would happen if any of those other people had taken 3 minutes and just thought about the position and the mental state that they were putting this person in? And all it is, okay, so it's 20 seconds more to get through the checkout. And so you've got 20 extra seconds, or you've got 2 minutes. Well, big deal. Yeah. It's better to see and take what you have and share it with someone else and hopefully uplift them. So I believe that when I left her that day, I believe she felt that she could do the job, that she was qualified, and that someone appreciated her.
Yeah, I mean, and can you imagine what difference that will make if everybody in the world would do something to that nature? And I think, again, that going back to that, that's a missing component. We're so hung up on social media and all these different things, and we forget the aspect of the community or being able to edify people, right? Edify people in many different ways. And I always tell people, like, you can be that one person that with just your smile or a simple hello at the store can make a big difference to somebody else, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on through their head or in their houses, things like that. So, I oftentimes do the same thing and take the time to just say hello to someone randomly, or
Mhm.
just give them a smile, because again, that could be the difference for them. uh,
Mhm.
I've seen it,
Mhm.
and I had so many people that have come to the show and so many different stories, and I even heard, like, sometimes even that simple "I care for you," or "let me take a few seconds to talk to you," has been so impactful to be able to stop people from doing crazy things like
Mhm.
suicidal thoughts and things like that. You just never know, right?
Right. You never know. You never know what people are going through. And you never know, sometimes we think that, it takes some big monumental act to impact someone. But you're so right. It can be just a smile.
Right.
It can be just, picking up on a conversation, or, asking someone, you're out walking like I was the other day, and uh, a fellow walker, she passed me and she had this cute little dog. And so I just thought, oh, he's the cute
Yeah.
little dog. And so we just had a conversation about how cute her dog was.
Yeah.
Well, it's just simple things. And so she left with a smile on her face because somebody thought her dog was cute.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I want to look back to the other thing that you talked about, the money aspect, and I agree with you. Obviously, money is important. We kind of all need it. I
Mhm.
also believe, though, I think very similar. I share this with you, with what you mentioned, is that, especially for us, or like for me, who is doing what I'm doing uh, for a particular purpose. I believe that
Mhm.
if um if you are working for profits, you are
Mhm.
doing it wrong. You have to be
Mhm.
working for purpose, and the
Right.
profits will come. and
Right.
and
I
what I mean by
agree.
that is that, I oftentimes, when I started my journey of being an entrepreneur, I saw many people that took that route, and, like, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna go chase that shiny object, and I'm gonna do something with this, and my purpose is because I want to make so much money. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, you got to go deeper than that. That's not the purpose. That's a result of your purpose, not that's not the purpose. And I've seen people that have gotten to that point where they went in it for their own reasons, for the money,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
sooner than later that money ended. And I do believe that
Right.
once you're working by faith, with certainty, and with a purpose, that money's going to come. It's going to
Right.
come one or the other, for sure.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I,
I agree with you. And I believe that money is important. And so we need to understand that, because um it allows us to implement our purpose and to fulfill a destiny. So, and I believe that, what you're saying is so true, is that our income, we want to work to make sure that we maximize it, because we want to live well. We want to make sure that we leave a legacy for our children, but also we want to be able to give and impact the lives of people that we may never even know. So
right,
through nonprofits, foundations, or whatever, that needs to be a part of how we make distribution and how we make change lives. My mother, I have my mother turned well, she'll be 102
wow,
this September. And her prayer, she's one of these individuals who, she's a person of faith, and simple but impactful.
yeah,
Wherever she goes, it's like everybody calls her Granny, and so Granny is always the favorite wherever she's at.
yeah,
But she has always shared, as we were growing up, that her prayer was that she would have enough money to meet her needs, to take care of her children and her grandchildren, but also that she would have enough to give to other people.
mm,
And because that's always been her mentality, she has always been a giver, because she's positioned herself to think that I need to be able to give. And even at this, at my age now, whenever I go to my mother's, I'm going to walk out with something. It may be something simple, but it might be something, here's an Afghan that, I purchased, or sometimes it's something as simple as, I know you like ginger ale, so go in there and take a couple of ginger ales when you leave or whatever. But when we position ourselves to be thinking just not about ourselves, but also about other people, we position ourselves to also receive and have the abundance that we need, because it's not just about us, but it's about us being able to make distribution to others.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely love that. That's huge. That is huge. With all your accomplishments, obviously, where can people pick up your books? Amazon or?
Right. All my books are on Amazon,
Okay.
and they can visit my website. It is www.carolynawarren.com. Simple, my name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they can send me an email at carolyn@carolynawarren.com. But yes, all of my books are on Amazon. And I also do, they can follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and it's all my name.
Awesome. Now, do you primarily work with just women to empower them, or you also do stuff with men?
I work with men as well.
Okay.
I do think, though, that I have a unique message that resonates with women, just because of, some of my experiences. But yes, I do work with men as well. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. My last question for you is, you've already given us a lot of great information, so thank you for that. For the people that are watching the show or are listening to us, if they are going through any challenge, whatever challenge that might be, what is one thing you can say to them so they can start overcoming that challenge?
The thing that I would say is that the challenge is just the moment. It is not the entirety of your life. So don't think that challenge defines you, nor does it create walls for you, but it is an opportunity to climb over, move through, or go under something, because on the other side, that is who you really are, that person in the future. And never give up on your dreams. I am someone who is living, I believe, my best life for this very moment. But this started after I was 60 years old. So, you are never irrelevant. You are never out of sync. You have never gone past your prime. I believe that we can rewrite our story, and we can fulfill our purpose and our dreams if we just don't give up. And we see life as a learning opportunity. It's not always easy, and sometimes it's a little tough. But the thing is that moment, that trauma, that pain does not define you, but it can create and reignite the possibilities that have been hidden inside of you.
Oh wow, that's huge. I love that message, because at the end of the day, it's never too late. You're never too late in terms of your age or any of that stuff to
Mm-hmm.
stop you from fulfilling those dreams. So I really, really love that. So Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being on the show. Really enjoy having this conversation with you.
Well, thank you. It has been my pleasure, Cesar.
Awesome. And for the rest of you guys, do me a favor, go ahead and connect with Carolyn. Also, please share this message, because definitely somebody needs to hear that message. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm CesarRespino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform, where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.CesarRespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.